Hi everyone, my name is John Thorson and I miss the arts. I miss being in concert, I miss being in plays and watching the energy and excitement of students participating in this important work and really just having fun. But you know what's awesome is our teachers and our students are still engaged in the fine arts. They're still producing drama work, they're still producing art with their hands, painting and drawing and playing violins and cellos and bass and other things. And this is an encapsulation of all the things we did in the fine arts in the middle school and upper school. Enjoy and thank you.
Hi, my name is Meg Williams. I'm a senior at Athens Academy. I've been going here since 2nd grade, and quarantine has impacted my art.
In what ways?
I started drawing once we were at home learning, and I started doing little sketches, and I've always been doing little sketches in classes on my notebook paper, but then I started actually sitting down and putting a lot of time into it.
Is there...
Do I have to say Ghost Spartans?
Yes.
Why?
It's part of the brand.
Hi, I'm Maggie, and I'm a senior at Athens Academy, and I'm a photographer. And over quarantine, yes, I created, but it was different because I was taking pictures of mainly food because I was baking a lot, and I was also taking pictures of flowers and stuff when I would go on my walks with my sister. So, yes.
Do you feel like you changed framing or anything, or the way you style your shots?
Yes, for sure. I have been taking a lot of pictures by my window because the natural lighting really elevates each photo.
I know that a lot of artists or photographers mainly edit their photos. Do you edit your photos, or do you just go point blank?
Yes, I edit them, but to an amount where it still looks natural and it just enhances the photo, because I think editing also really elevates it and takes it to the next level.
Nice, thank you so much. I'm gonna make you do a Go Spartans.
Go Spartans! Oh wait, no, can I redo that? That was dumb.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Danielle Norris. This is my 5th year at Athens Academy, and I am a choreographer and dancer.
What kind of art do you usually create?
I like to choreograph different routines. I'm a gymnast, and so these routines can be used for our floor routines or our beam routines, or just other general dance routines, not gymnastic specific.
Did you create over quarantine?
I did. Quarantine actually allowed me a lot more time, and so I tried a bunch of different styles and genres. I was able to work with a lot of different musics, and so it was actually really fun. I created a lot more during quarantine than I normally would have.
Awesome. Did you find that the work was different than usual? Did the pandemic influence you in any way?
Other than the time, I think that was sort of the only difference, just giving me sort of new ways to try different styles.
Is there a particular piece or piece of choreography that you find particularly great, that you're particularly proud of?
I actually got to choreograph part of my floor routine that I'm going to compete this season, and that was really exciting for me, is that I got to work with, I worked with a choreographer who does this professionally, but she actually let me sort of take the reins a little bit, and so it was really special that I have created something that I will now perform for competition.
Incredible. Can I get a Go Spartans?
Go Spartans! You're not allowed to use that.
Hi, my name is Harbor Covington. I'm a senior at Athens Academy, and I like to participate in a lot of different art forms. I really like theater, and I like to sing, and I honestly like to write a lot, but over quarantine I couldn't do a lot of those things just because I wasn't around people, so I sort of tried some different stuff, and I actually ended up making this type of journal that we called a spell book, where I printed out a bunch of my favorite pictures and covered the front and back pages, and I turned it into my planner. So over quarantine it was sort of cool to try something new that I've never really done before.
Can I get you to state your name, what grade you are, and how long you've been at ACAD?
My name is Carson Will. I'm a senior, and I've been at ACAD since 9th grade.
What kind of art do you create?
I'm a visual artist. I mainly draw and paint.
Did you create anything over quarantine?
Yes, I did. I painted a picture of my friend's niece.
Did you find that quarantine in any way affected how you would normally create art?
Yes, because my art teacher, Mr. Graves, helps me a lot through like the process of like deciding what I'm gonna do next. But when I emailed him, he actually responded fairly quickly, so it changed, but not that much.
Hi, my name's Allie. I'm a 10th grader here at Athens Academy, and I'm a digital artist. Over the quarantine, I did a different type of art where I started doing landscapes instead of just portrait.
Yes. Did you write any poetry over quarantine?
I did. I also wrote some poetry, but it wasn't different. It was still about my mom.
Oh, okay. And then I heard that you mentioned you were going to write short stories for Lit Review.
I
Have
am.
you written short stories before?
I have written short stories before.
Okay, so those aren't a new thing for you.
No.
But
No,
over
no.
quarantine, did you find that this helped your process? Like having more time, could you write more? Did you write less than usual?
I actually wrote more because I was more with myself. So I just had more time to rather focus on the things around me. I focused on, I guess, my own inner feelings.
Hi, my name is Lizzy Walker, and I'm a senior at Athens Academy, and I do theater and visual arts. And since I didn't really have access to any of the tools to do those over quarantine, I did a lot of DIY and crafts at home to sort of upgrade my surroundings. So yeah, go Spartans!
My name is Ella Peters. I'm a senior at Athens Academy, and I've been going here since freshman year, and I'm a writer. I usually do poetry.
Were you proud of the art that you produced over quarantine?
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'd say it's probably like the work that I have the most pride over.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how was this art different than art you produced previously?
The stuff that I wrote during quarantine is definitely a lot more introspective, just because all my time was spent with like only myself. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about the kind of person I was, how I wanted other people to perceive me, how I wanted to express myself, and I think that really came through in what I wrote.
Is there a particular piece that you were proud of, like one?
There's one piece about, can I be specific?
Yeah.
There's a piece about insomnia and sort of like the thinking that goes on in the middle of the night.
My name's Jack Nasworthy. I am a senior here at Athens Academy.
And what kind of artist are you?
Well, it varies. I can be a draw. I can draw. I can paint. I can write as well. And I like photography a little bit here and there.
So did you create over quarantine?
I did. I painted a mural in my room on one of my walls. I painted a mural, just various different things on there, and then I wrote some poetry here and there.
I know that you write a little bit of poetry. Did you feel like quarantine made you write more?
Actually, it made me write less.
Really?
I would usually write in my free periods during school. But when we went to quarantine, we didn't really have that. I just kind of laid around at home, and I worked on my mural for most of the time, but yes.
So do you think, with respect to writing, do you think that you were creating worse pieces or better pieces when you were creating?
I think they were more thought through, and I think that they were more meaningful, but I don't think I produced as near as what I could have, like if I was at school.
Okay. And then back to actually drawing an art, did your process change at all, or do you think you got better over quarantine with your painting?
Oh yes, for sure. I've never really enjoyed painting, but until I painted in my room. But I would usually stick with just pencil, paper pencil. And in quarantine, I really came out of my shell, I guess, and painted. I don't know. I don't know how to say that, but yeah.
No, that's it. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do you think quarantine overall was a good experience for your art, and you think you've gotten better because of it?
Yes, quarantine definitely helped me grow up. I grew up during quarantine.
So I'm taking 2-day art, and this semester's been really fun because Mr. Graves has been helping me try out a bunch of new different mediums. For example, I'm doing mosaic and like tile setting right now. So yeah, it's been an overall really fun semester.
Once upon a time, there was a family that lived in poverty, and they were running low on food, because they had 2 children. Their names were Hansel and Gretel, and they lived with an evil stepmother.
We are running low on food. We must get rid of these nasty children. They're costing us way too much.
I can't get rid of my children. They'll surely starve out there.
Them or me. Take your pick.
Oh! Please, I don't want to choose.
Little did the parents know Hansel heard their conversation and had a plan.
Gretel, I have some very important news. Stepmom's getting rid of us. She's going to strand us in the woods.
Father would never get rid of us.
But stepmom would.
A few days later, Kelly kicked the children out, not worried about anything her husband said.
Let's go, children.
Kelly, what are you doing?
We're going on a walk. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Have fun. Oh my gosh, you were right. It's okay. I got stones. I'm going to make a trail so I know our way back.
Hurry up, you little freaks. Let's get out of here. Don't keep me waiting.
When Kelly stranded Hansel and Gretel in the woods, Hansel's plan to leave stones as a trail worked, and they were soon back at the cottage.
We made it!
But when Kelly saw that the children were gone, she took their stones and sent them straight into the woods.
Give me your stones, you disgusting little creatures, and make your way back this instant.
What are we going to do? It's okay, I got bread. I'm going to go trail again.
When Kelly picked the kids up and they turned on their way back, they found out that birds had eaten their trail of bread, and they ventured farther in the forest in hopes for shelter. After a long time of walking in the forest, they finally came upon a giant house made completely of candy.
Wow. Let's see. But shouldn't we see who lives here first? It's probably abandoned. But it's their house. It's fine.
As Hansel and Gretel were eating the witch's house, an old blind lady came out from the inside.
What are you kids doing out here? Well, we're here to eat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me stir something up for you. Come inside, I'll prepare a feast.
I don't know, we're kind of lost.
Please come. It's the least I can do.
Okay, why not?
When Hansel and Gretel went in the witch's house, they saw a huge feast of all the candies ever imagined. Eat as much as you want, and more. Please eat up. Hansel and Gretel ate their weight in candy and fell asleep.
Meanwhile, hey Kelso, where are my children?
Well, they're playing outside.
Oh, okay, can we go get them? Food's getting cold.
Well,
where are my children? Nappy head, no hairline, widow's peak, Chippendale buck teeth, outline of a naked mole.
When Hansel woke up, he was in a cage.
I'm in a cage!
Come here, Gretel. I need you to do something for me. Tell Hansel what's going to happen.
What's going on? She's a witch. She's gonna cook you and eat you, and I'm her slave.
No, she's gonna eat me!
It's okay, I have a plan.
Gretel heated the oven as the witch prepared Hansel.
What are you doing?
I'm putting the finest rub and spices on you. When the witch dragged Hansel to the oven, Gretel kicked her in the shins and shoved her in the oven. Oh, I'm cooking and melting! No!
Thank you. You're welcome.
When Hansel and Gretel returned to the cottage, they found out that their stepmother was gone, and their father took them back in, and they lived happily ever after.
The end!
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, or an indication that I want it or give it or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you.
I was only 6 years old when my dad left to go overseas. He was in the Army, a lieutenant, and they told him when he received his assignment that he could be gone up to 3 years without a visit home. So he spent the next few months trying to spend as much time with me as possible. we went swimming. He taught me how to ride a bike, and we built a treehouse. And at night we would build fires in the backyard, and he would look over at my mom from his chair, and he would sing to her, and he would touch her cheek. In the mornings, he would make me and my mom practice the kisses we were going to give him when he returned home. She cried a lot then. I mean, she would just cry while she was washing the dishes or serving dinner. But me? I guess I just loved all the attention I was getting from my father. And I resented my mom for ever being upset about anything. A few months before he left, my father decided to buy me a gift. A music box. It was wooden with a rose carved into the lid, and when you lifted the lid, the music, it tinkered out. And a single tiny dancer spun in the middle of the box, and a mirror reflected her so you could see all of her sides. And she had a tiny tulle skirt and a tiara. And he bought me this perfect gift. And I set it aside. I was more interested in whatever candy or sweets he had brought me that day, and it sat overlooked until the day my father left the country. The last time I saw him, I didn't even understand why my mom was crying. We drove back home, and I walked into my room, and I spotted the music box. I lifted that lid, and I watched that tiny dancer spin. And I watched her for a long time. And from then on, the music of that box, it tucked me in since my father couldn't. My mother received notice 8 months after his departure. They brought the folded American flag and his dog tags when they brought the telegram. She threw away the flag. She refused to let them give him a 21-gun salute at the funeral. She couldn't forgive the Army for taking him away. I often wonder about who owned that box before me, and I've never quite been able to figure out what that song is.
You think you're real hot stuff, Shirley. Ever since you moved here, ever since you breezed in last fall, you're pretty, and you think because your eyes and your nose and your mouth come together in that cute way, you get whatever you want. And now you're Queen of Hearts. Well, so what? So what, Shirley? That doesn't mean a thing. There's a new Queen of Hearts every year. There'll always be one, a new one. Did you see all the women out there tonight? The ones that stood up in the audience? They were all Queen of Hearts too. Every one of them was Queen of Hearts, and just look at them. They're still getting old. Look at my sister. Look at her. Queen of Hearts, married to a crummy preacher, all swelled up with a baby. Nothing changes, Shirley. Queen of Hearts doesn't mean crap. Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts. It's so stupid.
It was all the men's fault. The whole business. It was the men on the farm ordering and beating me and giving me the wrong start. Then when I was a nurse, it was the men again, hanging around, bothering me, trying to see what they could get. And now it's men all the time. I wasn't going to tell you, but you forced me to. If I told you that just getting out here on this barge and being on the sea had changed me and made me feel different about things, if all I'd been through wasn't me and didn't count and was just like it never happened, you'd laugh, wouldn't you? And you'd die laughing, I'm sure, if I said that meeting you that funny way that night in the fog, and afterwards see that you were straight good stuck on me. It got me to thinking for the first time, and I sized you up as a different kind of man. A sea man, as different from the ones on land as water is from mud. I wanted to marry you and fool you, but I couldn't. Don't you see how I've changed? I couldn't marry you with you believing a lie. And I was ashamed to tell you the rest. To the both of you, forced my hand, and I seen that you was the same as all the rest. Will you believe it if I say that loving you has made me clean? It's the straight goods, honest. Like hell you will. You are the same as all the rest. And you know what? You can go to hell. The both of you.
Do you know what I do whenever it feels like I couldn't stand being cooped up for any longer? I think myself out. I think myself on the walk in the park, raised to go with Pim, where the jonquils and the crocus and the violets all grow down the slopes. It's funny, I used to take it all for granted, and now I've gone crazy thinking about everything to do with nature. When I think of all that's out there, the trees and the flowers and the seagulls, when I think of the people we know risking their lives for us every day, I realize how we're not alone, how we're not the only people who've had to suffer, how everyone's had to. And yet I know it's terrible trying to have faith in something so horrible. But do you know what I think? I think the world's going through a phase, the way I was with Mother. It'll pass. Maybe not for hundreds of years, but do you know what I think? I think people are truly good at heart.
I wish Daddy were alive. He was so handsome, always dressed so dapper. His shoes always shined. I always thought he should have been a movie star, like Gary Cooper, only very short. Mostly, I remember his pockets. When I was 6 or 7, he always brought me home a little surprise, like a Hershey or a top. He'd tell me to go get it in his coat pocket. So I'd run to the closet and I'd put my hand in, and it felt as big as a tent. I just wanted to crawl in there and go to sleep. And there were all of these terrific things in there, like juicy fruit gum or spearmint lifesavers, and bits of cellophane and crumpled pieces of tobacco. Then I found his coat in Mom's closet, and I put my hand in, and everything was gone. It was empty and dry cleaned. It felt cold. And that's when I knew he was really dead.
One night, I was making rounds with a doctor, and I asked him which man in the room probably suffered most. He glanced over at a young man who never spoke, never complained, never asked for anything. His name was John, and he had been a blacksmith. An attractive face he had, framed in brown hair. The doctor said he'd wish he could save him, but he couldn't. When I next saw John, he was sitting up while the surgeon dressed his back. He looked lonely. Then I noticed tears rolling down his face. silent tears. I went to him and said, "Let me help you, John." And I've never seen such a beautiful look of gratitude. "That is just what I wanted," he said. "Why didn't you just ask me?" "Because I didn't want to be any trouble," he said. Now and then, as I stood straightening the table by his bed, I would feel him touch my dress in reassurance. And then one day, he took my hand. "Am I going to make it home?" he asked me. And it was the hardest question I have ever been called on to answer. Doubly hard with those clear blue eyes fixed on mine. I'm afraid not, John.
I was like you once. Lost, confused. But then I met Charlie. I was sitting on a beach in Venice. I had just had a big fight with my daddy about, I don't know. He called me a drug addict and a whore and told me to get out of his house forever. So I went down to the beach and I sat in the sand and I cried. It felt like I was disappearing, like the world was splitting into two parts, me and everybody else. And then this man came onto the beach, this dirty looking little elf. He walked and stopped in front of me and smiled this twinkly devil smile and said, "Your daddy kicked you out. He knew. Your daddy kicked you out. How could he have known? My daddy didn't tell him so. Who did?" God sent this dirty looking little elf to help save a little girl lost on the beach. He smiled again and he touched my hair and off he went. And for a second I just watched him go. And then I ran and I caught his hand, and until they arrested him for stabbing Sharon Tate, I never let it go.
I was in the latrine, alone. I spent 4 hours cleaning it. It looked better than my mother's bathroom at home. Then these two non-coms come in, and one was the cook, this 300-pound guy, and some other slob, and they come in to pee, only instead of using the urinal, they use one of the johns, both peeing in the same one, making circles and figure eights. Then they get up to leave, and I say, "Hey, I just cleaned that. Please flush the facility." And the big one, the cook, says to me, "Up your ass, rookie." And so I block the door and I say, "There's a signed order on the wall, signed by Captain Langdon, stating the regulations that all the facilities must be flushed after using. And I was going to enforce that because I was the one left in charge." And then the big one says to me, "Suppose you flush it, New York Jew kike." And I say, "My ethnic heritage notwithstanding, please flush the facility." Then they look at each other, and then suddenly they rush me, they grab my ankles, they pick me up, and they lower me by my feet into their filth and their poison, all the way so I couldn't breathe. And then they take my belt off and they tie my feet to the ceiling pipes. And they tie my hands behind me with filthy rags. And they left me there, hanging like a pig that was about to be slaughtered. And no one came to help me. I couldn't do it alone. And then the pipe broke, and I fell. It took me 20 minutes to get untied. 20 minutes. But it's going to take me the rest of my life to wash off my humiliation. I was degraded. I lost my dignity. If I stay, Jean, and if they put a gun in my hand, I swear to God, I'll kill them both.
I am not mad. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife. Young Arthur is my son. And he is lost. I am not mad. I would to heaven I were. For then 'tis like I should forget myself. Oh, if I could, what grief should I forget? Preach me some philosophy to make me mad, and thou shalt be canonized cardinal. Being not mad, but sensible of grief. A reasonable part produces reason how I may be delivered of these woes, and teaches me to kill or hate myself. If I were mad, I should forget my son, or madly think a babe of clouds were he. I am not mad. Too well I feel the different plague of each calamity. I am not mad.
Oh my gosh! Oh! Oh my god! Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh! Oh, I dug you up because I wanted to play with you. Oh my god, what did I do? You know, I knew that I'd regret it. But I did it anyway, didn't I? Because there's always that voice in the back of my head that's like, well, you can dig him up and you can play with him then. But I always forget that when I get you back, you're not going to be any fun at all. You know, I thought maybe a little bit of fun. Oh, I could move your face around, like pretend we're having a conversation. No, but I look at you now. No, I don't want to. Well, we must live with the mistakes we've made. That's the lesson here. But not for you, of course. But for me, it's for me. We must live and learn from our mistakes. And I am willing to live and maybe learn from this mistake. Okay. So I am beginning to think that maybe some of my loneliness is my own fault. But you would have left anyway. And that would have made me lonelier. But lonelier than now. Perhaps not. No, I think maybe nothing is lonelier than now. Okay, well, I guess it's time to put you back in the ground. Oh, but I just don't want to let you go. Here. Just let me look at you for a minute. Don't move. Just let me look at you.
I am Popo Martin. Dr. Nestor says I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, and when I see red, I see red. Although sometimes it happens and I don't see red, and sometimes I see red and it doesn't happen. I'm the most popular girl in the hospital. I get lots of visitors. I was a cheerleader once. I do a cheer for you now, but I don't have my pom-poms. All the teachers love me. You can ask anyone at school and they'd all say the same thing. Popo Martin is always cheerful. Popo Martin is a natural leader. Popo Martin looks on the bright side of things. Popo Martin has a smile on her face and a kind word for a saddened stranger. Which is probably why everyone was so surprised when I tried to kill myself.
They told me you were fools, and that I was not to listen to your fine words, nor trust your charity. You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead. It is not the bread nor the water that I fear. I can live on bread. When have I asked for more? It is no hardship to drink water if the water be clean. Bread has no sorrow to me, and water no affliction. But to shut me from the light of the sky and the sights of the fields and the flowers? To chain my feet so that I may never again ride with the soldiers nor climb the hills? To make me breathe foul, damp darkness and take me away from everything that brings me back to the love of God, when your wickedness and foolishness tempt me to hate him. All this is worse than the furnace in the Bible that was heated 7 times. I could drag about in a skirt. I could let the trumpets and the banners and the soldiers and the knights pass me by and leave me behind as they do the other women. If only I could still hear the wind in the trees, the larks in the sunshine, the young lambs crying through the healthy frost, and the blessed, blessed church bells that bring my angel voices floating to me on the wind. But without these things, I cannot live. And by your wanting to take them away from me or from any human creature, I know that your counsel is of the devil, and that mine is of God.
My short skirt is not proof that I'm stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am. Get used to it.
No! This isn't the way it's supposed to go! I'm not supposed to save you! You're not supposed to rely on me! Lean on me! I'm supposed to do that to you! You are my big sister! Who do I lean on? Good girls, bad girls, white hats, black hats. Why is it when they were handing out good girl, bad girl cards, you got bad and I got good? Nobody asked me. When you're good and you dress in pretty clothes and you're polite and nice and you get good grades, no one gives a crap about you. I can see their eyes gloss over and I can hear inside their heads. Oh, thank God. I don't have to worry about her. I don't have to think about her. Thank God she's quiet. Thank God she's quiet and smart and sane and pretty and nothing like her sister. Alice the Good. Alice has no idea what it's like to be bad. That must be the way it is. Never mind that I learned from the master. Well, I learned from your mistakes, but also your brilliant flashes of light. I mean, you pulled out a flask in English class. Now, I have headaches. I have these terrible headaches, and everyone knows. It's because I was in this little car accident about a year ago. No one ever questions why I have a big bottle of aspirin in my backpack. No one ever shakes the bottle. No one has ever wondered why there aren't any pills.
How come I don't hear any pills? How come it sounds like liquid in there? How could that be? You know, I had a cough syrup bottle for a while. Liquid for liquid. I thought, that's too easy. This past year has been the most fascinating experiment. I should have documented the whole thing for posterity. How far can an invisible good girl go before anyone pays attention? What the hell do I have to do to get noticed in this town? Funny thing, no one notices. No one cares. They think they see a good girl and that's what they believe. They think they see a bad girl and that's what they believe. Good old hell-raising, car-smashing, money-stealing, amount to nothing. Take her little sister for a joyride on a bottle of Jack so she almost killed her. Bad girl. Okay. Now if you're right, and I am that good girl, white hat, riding in on my horse from the sunset to save everyone, life jackets for everyone, well then I won't be able to handle a pull from that bottle. Give me the bottle. What are you afraid of? You're right. Aren't you?
My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I'm here and I'm hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my personal country. But mainly, my short skirt and everything under it is mine, mine, mine.
I can't dance. I don't know why I can't dance. I can't make my body move in these ways that the music is demanding that I move. It's just so embarrassing. I mean, standing in public around hundreds of people who are displaying their purest, truest selves out there on the dance floor, but my body fights it. I start to analyze the music, the rhythm, the time signature. I understand the theory of dancing. Like, I understand this intellectually, but I've never experienced it. I can't dance. When we were together, there were all of these times when you would arrange for us to be at these parties, and invariably there would be a band or music playing, and invariably people would start dancing. Invariably you would want to dance. And I wouldn't dance with you. And I wouldn't dance with you? And I could see the hurt on your face. I could see the anger, and I could see that this just wouldn't do for you. But if I let out that one thing, that I couldn't dance, then everything would follow. I couldn't act correctly in social situations. I couldn't hold you when you needed to be held because I wanted you to be stronger. Because I wanted you to be stronger, I couldn't ask for the warmth of your touch. I couldn't let myself. I wasn't able to do these things. I've done nothing but make myself more isolated, unavailable, and unappealing. Believe it or not, it's difficult picking up women with this type of conversation. I'm not really going to change. I don't know why this is. I mean, people think I make these choices, but you've got to believe me, I have no control. I can't dance.
Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he will never affect me. I am base, and my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he,
Prince. To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore? As witless, out upon it. What pushes are we wenches driven to when 15 once has found us? First, I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was a goodly man. Next, I pitied him. And so would any young wench that vowed her maidenhead to a young, handsome man. Then, I loved him. Extremely loved him. Infinitely loved him. When I bring him water in the mornings, he'll greet me thus. Fair, gentle maiden, good morrow. May thy goodness get thee a happy husband. Once, he kissed me. Oh, and I loved my lips the better 10 days after. Would he would do so every day. What should I do to make him know that I love him? Say I ventured to set him free. What says the law then? I will do it. And this night, or tomorrow, he will love me.